All right, I want to welcome everyone to NCRSP's leadership training. This is our first session this week on membership recruitment, and it is good to see everyone. Just a few housekeeping rules. Please keep your phone on mute unless otherwise indicated. Encourage you to put questions as they arise in the chat if they come up, though we will have a dialogue later on in the session. Again, the session is being recorded and will be made available. We're discussing today membership recruitment. Carol McLam will go over information that we have that's sent from the state office. And then we'll discuss how do you work the lists and leads that you receive of prospective members. And this session was described as a panel discussion, but what it really is a dialogue, because we have several people on the line who are doing really great things with regards to recruiting new members. And then about 11 o'clock, we'll be joined by Sarah Feldman, who will discuss messaging to prospective members. Sarah works for NCAE, and she is she's one of their organizers, and she is wonderful. Those of you who don't know her, I think a few of you do. She's got great ideas, great insight and tips. And so we're just looking forward to having her with us. Okay. So we are going to start now with Carol McLam, our staff associate. Carol, turning it over to you to discuss a little bit about the information that we get and what goes out.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Good to see so many smiling faces, and hopefully we'll get to see a few more before the hour and a half is over. I wanted to talk about the processes that we do at the state office and some resources that you can certainly use, or a strategy for organizing your campaign that you can copy over to the local level. First of all, as soon as we get access to a contact list of people that have just recently retired from school personnel, the first thing that we want to do is send them an invitation packet. And I hope that at the local level, you would have such a packet that talks about who your organization is, who you represent, what your mission statement is, and how members could benefit if they will join. Our invitation packet starts with a welcome letter that talks about congratulating school personnel who have recently retired. And it talks about our mission. What our mission is to focus on protecting the benefits of the retirees and making sure that we have legislative process in place that can help with that to protect the pension and the benefits. Then it talks about the dues. This is basically a 4-part membership, and we talk about that. It goes all the way to the top to NEA. So we include all the latest information from NEA, which might be a new giveaway, a discount, or products to purchase, or services that NEA is offering recently. We send out the most recent NEA information, as well as how to access the NEA website, so prospective members can look around and see the many benefits that they would be able to have access to through the NEA. And then coming down to the state level, of course, it's a by organization in that we are part of NCAE, which is the legislative, the active teachers that has a very active legislative unit that is helping with all the issues at the General Assembly that are important to school personnel. And then the NCRSP is a division of the NCAE, and all the activities and benefits that we have, the shopping discounts, the programs that we offer, the ways to keep retired teachers connected, the ways to keep retired teachers involved in talking to each other and networking and helping, and to stay active and engaged. And then at the local level, of course, that is your local county or city unit, and ways that you guys get involved with local community service projects and recognition projects and all types of things that are important to the members. But we basically, in our packet, we talk about what the mission of NCRSP is. Again, protecting all the benefits. And we have a section on what the dues are and explain the 4-part membership. And we also have a current membership application that talks about the ways that you can sign up and pay the dues. And you could also have access to an NEA lifetime membership, which would reduce your overall statewide dues. We explained that very well on the new membership application. So that's part of the invitation packet. We also have copies of some of the specific member benefits like the accidental death and dismemberment policy that's offered through Horace Mann Insurance Company. We send a copy of that. Depending on how the members pay their dues, they could have access to $2,500 accidental death benefits or $7,500, depending again on how they set their dues up. And then they would want to keep that with their family important papers. Also, another service that is available to NCRSP members is the attorney referral program. So twice a year, 2 times, members can get a free 30-minute consultation with any of the attorneys that are listed on the referral program. And then we include, as I mentioned, all the NEA, anything that's current, the giveaway programs they're offering, certainly the updated discounted benefits that they have, and the products like life insurance that are available for purchase. And you have to be a member, of course, to do that. And then the enrollment form, the application. So I would hope on the local level that you would have such a flyer that talks about who you are, and what you represent, what your mission is, and any ideas that you have on that would benefit the prospective members so that they would be excited about becoming part of your organization. Now, this is going to vary from unit to unit, but ideas that you have to give the prospective members a sample, a look at who you are. Whether it's a membership mixer, you invite them to come and see who we are, what we're all about, the programs that we have going on, and to let you know that we're reaching out and that we want you to be a member and that everybody is engaged. It's very important for everybody to be engaged in the membership, not just the membership committee. Whether your strategy is to have a team competition, you have 2 teams of 5 that are out there trying to contact prospective members and get them to join, and who gets the most gets the prize or whatever. It's not about that competition, although that does help to engage members that are working on the membership campaign. But it's all about everybody has a role in membership recruitment, because that's just the lifeblood of the association. And that's going to keep you strong, of course, by engaging and recruiting new people to come in and with new ideas to help improve your organization and keep it moving forward. So being realistic with your goals, I know Teresa and others are going to talk about how to have access to a prospective list, being realistic in your goals, but being very consistent and persistent by not only sending out that initial invitation package, but also to follow up regularly with your prospects and invite them to come and take a look more than once, and to let them know that you're reaching out and you really want them to be a member, and you're there to answer their questions and to help to get them involved from beginning application stages on up to getting them really actively involved in your association. Does everybody want to talk about what your recruitment strategies are? Do you have a welcome packet? Do you have an invitation packet? Any dialogue or questions about that? What are some of the incentives that you offer to get people to join?
Well, I'll talk. It's all silence on the other end. We have a welcome letter that we sent out to newly retired people that we did in the fall, and we'll start it again this year now that we have a complete list from the county of all the retirees. We're trying to figure out whether we're going to have face-to-face meetings in the fall. Right now, we still can't use our meeting space in the building, which is one of the school buildings. They're not letting people come in to use it. So Debbie and I sat down, she's our membership chair, and decided the 3 contacts that we would do over the summer to them, just to keep them in the loop, and then invite them to something in the fall, whether it's in that building or, you know, somewhere, so that we can have a reception. So we're working on that, but we don't have a packet. But so my question is, will we get a fee structure or a dues fee structure? And is the Horace Mann, so I have 2 questions. And is the Horace Mann separate from the insurance that members get when they sign up? That comes through NCAE. So it's 2 separate insurances, Carol?
Through NCRSP, the only insurance that we have is the Horace Mann. That's the accidental death and dismemberment. And members could purchase from NEA certainly other insurance products, but that's the only product that we have. I'm not sure what NCAE does, but I know that their members also can purchase those products from NEA.
Right. So that in the Horace Mann is an automatic?
Right, it is.
Okay. That was never,
And
that was
so
never
when
explained to me, so that's news. So
yeah, so when I get calls from family members whose member has passed, of course, you know, I ask, you know, was it accidental death or was it other causes? And if it was, then Tara will help that family with filing a claim. So there's no really designated beneficiary. It's just the family calls in and we help them get in touch with the company to file a claim for an accident.
okay. So those are 2 separate. Gotcha. And then the dues, are they?
Okay, so on the membership form, it's very self-explanatory. It talks about which one you want to purchase. Do you want to purchase the NEA lifetime membership for $300 one-time payment? Or are you already an NEA lifetime member? Or how do you want to pay your $144 a year dues? Do you want to do it on a bank draft out of your bank account monthly, or do you want to pay it once a year? You want to pay by check, you have that option, or credit card or bank draft. And now we've also gone back to bring up the payroll option, payroll deduction. So the new application reflects all these options for payment of dues.
Can I interject for a moment, Carol, please?
Sure, please.
Okay, I do know Deborah is online from New Hanover. So if I have any other New Hanover officers or chairs, just know your membership new enrollment form looks a little different than the one that is for everyone else. And that's because you have a higher local dues. So instead of the 144 that all the new incoming members will have to pay, your dues are actually 149 because you have a higher amount of local dues that comes back to you. Okay, so yours actually will be different. Yours will not be online. All of the officers and the chairs will have access because we will send you what your actual membership, your new membership enrollment form will look like. Okay.
When will that come, Tara?
Actually, July 1.
Good, because so we won't send out an application form in this month.
Correct.
So are the dues going to be deducted 10 months as they have been in the past, or 12 months if they were on payroll deduction?
That is correct. And just know a little caveat to what is different on the new membership form. Since we have been able to start re-allowing members to, well, that are newly retiring when they join, to have the option of paying by payroll, which they did not have before, for anybody that chooses that election of deductions, there is a space on their form. They have to put their full social. Okay. So if you have anybody that, you know, is new and they say, oh, I want to kind of keep things as it is, I'm on payroll, what do I have to do? They actually will have to fill out that form and put their full social. That way, the membership department will be able to connect their pensions through the state treasury's office to allow that deduction to take place.
Okay, let me get that. Let me clarify that then. I'm sure I heard that correctly, Tara.
Mhm.
So newly enrolled people, that's already automatic on the form that they put their number. But
Correct.
people that have already been doing payroll deduction are going to have to redo that to put the social security number in?
They will, if they have a lapse, I'm
A
gonna clarify
lapse.
that. If
Mhm.
they have a lapse, they do have to put that back in there. If they are coming straight from retirement, say June 30th, and they say, I want to continue on payroll, they do not. But if there's a lapse of any kind, yes, they do. If they retired in January and decide in July they want to join, they do actually have to have that full social, because once it cancels them out in the system, it cancels all of that pertinent information that originally was put in.
Okay, so that makes me jump into another question then, because the cash payers that didn't pay, and we're gonna grandfather them in on their dues, they will need to fill out a new application. Is that correct then?
It depends, actually, Barbara, how long it's been since they have not paid.
Most of them is a year.
If most of them a year, no, we still actually have that information in there. We're able to go back, and for most of those members, the officers won't have what their amounts are, but you can call or contact us and we are able to get that information for a year or so. Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't show up for you once it's been canceled after 6 months to a year. It will not populate anything automatic to these officers and the membership rosters that come to you.
Okay. So if they've been off the roster and we're going to do the cash pay, and I know we're supposed to be talking about new members, but since we're on this, then how is that going to be handled in August if we want to recruit them back in? Do they have to fill out another new membership application and social security number for payroll deduction, or?
They won't be able to do that for payroll deduction. It is strictly new members. For anybody who's they've been a member.
Right.
Okay. So they can't jump over to payroll deduction at this time.
Okay.
It is just completely new members. Okay. So if you have somebody that has lapsed in their membership, technically they do not have to fill out a new membership form. What we can do is there is a copy, and there's a cash pay membership enrollment form. We can also give you all access to be able to fill that out, print it up from your computer, fill it out. If you have somebody that's going to be coming to your meetings, that you're re-recruiting, somebody you talked over the phone, you can actually have a renewal form. We are able to give you a copy of what that renewal form looks like. You can print it out, fill out the information for them, and have them send it in.
Okay.
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't
what
matter.
we'll
If
need.
you don't have any access to that, and I've already printed out some of the new membership forms, by all means, you can do that. There is a space on there that says renewing. You can put that down there too. So it won't get handled as a new member. We'll have to look it up. Of course, if you don't have a number, a member ID number for them, all that can be looked up just as renewing. Okay. if you don't have any other form available to you. Say you didn't get to the website to be able to pull it down, it's okay. Use a new member form if you have to, check the renewing box, and we'll go from there. Okay.
All right, Tara, thank you. I'm sorry if I took up time.
You're
No,
okay. You're
that was
okay.
great. That was great. There was a question in chat about the Horace Mann insurance for cash paying. It's $2,500 is the amount for members paying dues on a cash basis, and then $7,500 accidental death and dismemberment for all NCRSP members who pay their dues on bank draft, credit card, or payroll. Anyone else want to jump in on the things you do to recruit members, incentives that you offer to get people to come and take a look at who you are and who you represent? Special activities, or do you send them a gift or a card, or just email the invitation packet?
Biggest thing we've been talking about is trying to find a way to get them engaged, like collecting school supplies for a couple schools that don't have anybody. They want to be active. We can't meet in person right now. We had one meeting in the park, and that went okay, but it's too hot down here now to do that much. But trying to get them engaged in an activity that's actually serving the schools. Otherwise, it's not just a social club meeting. We can't meet every month, and that's kind of what it was before, I think. So we're trying to give them actions.
New educators want to be involved, and they want to know that their time is spent productively. They don't want to just sit around and read minutes and have all these motions and committee reports. They want to have value for their time, is my opinion. And that's what I hear too, because, you know, if they're not needed to do a report, the ones that I've recruited that are newly retired, they don't attend the meetings because there's nothing, they don't see any value sitting around doing that. They want to have input and output. So we're trying to figure out ways that at this fall, when we start back, that we have something that they do at the meeting that is, whether it's cards they sign for members or write letters to legislators, whatever, we're going to have some kind of figure out some activity that is hands-on, some hands-on activity that has a result. That's just what I'm hearing from newly retired teachers, because they're so busy that they don't want to sit around yet. They haven't quite retired all the way. And if we wait for that, then it's too late.
They want to have a purpose.
Yeah, they want to have a purpose. Thank you.
Well, Carol, I'm going to start calling on some folks because I know that we have some other people on the line who are doing some things and getting some type of effect. So I'm going to ask Barbara and Bob Grau if they would share just a couple of things that they're doing in their local, or that they had been doing.
Well, we've not been doing a whole lot lately. We haven't met in a year. And we have sent out invitations, personal letters to every one of them. We've tried to hold some kind of event, and that hasn't worked really well. We're looking for some ideas today.
Okay.
Like the meeting will help.
Okay.
That's okay.
Bob, just unmute yourself.
Bob is dressing. I've got a doctor appointment in a few minutes I'm going to have to go to.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. Okay. Let's see. There was somebody else I was going to. Joan, do you want to share a couple of things you may be doing?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I will tell you what we have done in the past, what we are going to be doing for next year. We really have not planned yet. Well, first of all, we are fortunate enough to get the entire list of retirees in July from the county office, which has their not only the school they came from, but also their address, their phone numbers, email, that kind of thing. So we're very fortunate in that regard. We do send a letter. We know that letters are the least beneficial ways to recruit members. And so after we send the letter, we do try to telephone, divide the list up and telephone as many people as we can to have a personal invitation. Some years in the past, we have had a picnic and have invited them to the picnic. That seemed to be fairly successful. I don't know, this year, we too have not had an in-person meeting since COVID set in. We have tried to have meetings online, but they have not been particularly well attended by anything except our board. We maybe have had as many as 25 people or so. But I think that our problem this year is going to be not only new people, but re-engaging the people we have had in the past.
Yeah.
Because of the manner in which we collected dues last year, really lost more of our cash pay members than we had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that to try to recoup those folks as well. I don't know yet. I'm hoping to get some ideas here for some things that we might be able to do this year. We have in the past, and even in the past year, tried to have some involvement in the community in giving, helping out in particular areas financially. And I think that since we really didn't spend much money last year because we didn't have meetings in person and weren't able to get out a whole lot, I think that we probably will have funds to use this year that we may not have had in the past to be able to come up with some ways. I know that we have not done this, but I know that down in 7A, they have given cash rewards to at least the region has done that, has given cash rewards to locals for how many members that they were able to recruit. So that maybe is an incentive that some of us can use. Come on, folks, you've got ideas. Let's share them.
Well, I would like to share something. I am Mary from Edgecombe County. What we do a lot, we have a lot of word of mouth recruitment. Our members are told constantly that everybody is responsible for membership. So our members actually talk to people who are retiring. They give us the names. When I say us, I'm talking about our membership committee. The names are given to us, and we always follow up with a referral. At the time, we talk to them about the importance of staying in touch and informed about the retirees and what goes on with retirees. And we have been able to maintain our membership. We grow some, and then because of death or moving away, we're still able to keep that membership level at least consistent. We're right now still at about 150 plus members. So that mouth to mouth referral is very important for recruitment. And that follow up is even more important. So we make sure that we get all of the information that we can from them. We are working on a packet. We haven't completed it yet, but we do send any new interested person a little packet with a letter in it and a current application and a contact number so that they can have questions answered. We are in touch with both school districts in our area. We've gotten lists of people who are retiring. We haven't been able to get as much information though, like the phone number and the address of the retiree. Sometimes we can get that, sometimes we cannot. We have a web page that has a lot of information on it about recruitment in our Edgecombe Nash district or local district. We are pretty much trying to at least grow in terms of getting the information out. That's the important thing, I think, is getting information out to the community. And right now, our most effective tool is the mouth-to-mouth members recruitment. I do have
Teresa,
one question that was brought up earlier, and I forgot to ask it, referencing the attorney referral, the 30-minute. At some point, if we could review that, I would appreciate it.
Teresa, this is Joan in Greensboro again. One of the things that we do send out with our letter at the beginning of the year is a membership form and our newsletter. We do have a newsletter that we send out 4 times a year. And so in that fall or that initial newsletter, we send that to prospective members as well.
Thank you, Joan. Let's talk about some ideas here. I'm going to share a screen. I hope everybody can see this. Believe it or not, there isn't a lot of new innovative things under the sun when it comes to recruiting members. You have to rely on some of your old standby activities. And some of these things that are on the slide, we've talked about already today. So offering a discounted event for non-members. Some of you do that. I know some of you have events for non-members, but maybe if you're having a social event or some type of special guest or something, you want to invite some non-members at a discounted event if there is a member versus non-member rate. Start advertising on social media platforms. Barbara hinted a little bit about this. The new retirees, the prospective members that are going to start coming in are going to be different. They're going to look for different things. They're going to value different things. They're going to communicate differently. So to reach some of them, you need to start. I know some local units will advertise their meetings on bookmarks and put them at the library, put them in different places. But now we need to start incorporating social media. And that's not just Facebook, it's LinkedIn and maybe Instagram too. Some of you all do wonderful things. Even in the midst of the pandemic, you were doing some great things with scholarships or food bank drives. Take pictures of that. And then if throw that out on an Instagram account and say, hey, we meet at this time, maybe you want to be involved. And that may reach also some non-members. Barbara, I think it was Barbara, sorry, I keep saying your name, put it in the chat. It's about relationship, and it is. And it is, they're going to be looking for that added value. And the models that we may have used in the past, the way we hold our meetings and what we do may not work. They're going to be looking for hands-on things, whether it's grassroots events, or whether it's community service, they may not engage in the meetings until there's something, some type of thing that we're gonna do. They may not just come for a speaker or a meal. And on top of that, you may want to consider, even though you're going back meeting face to face, you may want to consider some meetings having hybrids so you can invite a non-member to come to the meeting. And then the other thing, some of the retirees, someone mentioned they're not all retired, some are still working. You may need to think about changing the times that you meet. You may not be able to meet at 11 o'clock anymore all the time. You may need to meet at 6 or 7. Okay. Make joining easy. Some of that is in your control, some of it isn't. But you don't want people having to go through a bunch of different steps. Oh, sign this here and then also go online. We want to make it a stream way, make it as easy as possible. Because I know, speaking for the people of the world who don't have strong attention span, if I have to click more than 3 times or do something more than 3 times, yeah, I'll come back to you. So we talked a little bit about offer incentives to join. NEA now not NEA, NCAE now has a dedicated benefits person again. And we're trying to get with her to start having some regular updates about benefits available to NCRSP members. And then maybe through some of those programs, if there's an incentive to join, if you wanted to underwrite somebody's dues for a month, or have a contest and then offer the cash incentive to those people who are recruiting the members. There's a lot of ways to make it work. If there's a local author that is important to people, and they can donate some books, and then you give a book for joining. There's a lot of different things that can be done. So you just have to think about what works within your budget. Cash incentive, cup incentive, something that catches their eye. I think everybody does this at one point, brings a prospective member to a meeting, but maybe you should have a specific meeting just for prospective members. Prior to the pandemic, we had gotten, NCRSP had gotten grants from NEA to help underwrite events like that. And that'll be coming back again in the new year, in the new fiscal year, next starting in July. So again, maybe we can help underwrite some of those meetings that you're having, whether it's a luncheon or a cocktail hour or what have you. And Joan talked about this. She has a newsletter for members. If you save an old one, or if you just do a specific 2 or 3 times something for new members to them to remind them that you're here, not new members, excuse me, prospective members, we're here, we have a presence, we have something for you, that may help also.
There was a question about NCRSP swag, Teresa. Do we have any giveaways that they could use for new members?
Yeah, we do not. We do not have a collective of swag. I can tell you that we look, and we usually only get it around specific events. And usually when I have it underwritten, and I do a lot with Vistaprint, and I can't remember the other company that we would use. I'm trying to figure out a way that we have swag available that people can buy, like through a marketplace. It's slow developing, but no, not at this time. We don't have a lot of swag. Thank you, Carol. Let's see.
Teresa,
Yes, ma'am.
go back. There is a question in the chat that goes back a little bit to get clarification on how the cash pay forms will be done this year.
Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Versus last year?
Last year, because we were all shut down and shut in at home, we had to do things differently with sending all of the cash pay members their forms straight to their homes, because they came from the actual printing company that did the forms. This year, we're able to have the forms printed up, come back to the state office, and we separate them and begin to put the packets together for all cash pay forms to go straight to the treasurers this year like it has done in the past. So, and just in case anyone's asking what time it is or what date, we cannot give you a specific, but we can tell you the goal is to have them all reach the treasurer's hands by the beginning of August, if all goes right.
I want to thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
That is the
Deborah,
local.
Deborah has her hand up.
That's the local treasurer, right?
That is the local treasurer.
Thank you.
Were there any other questions, Tara, that we missed? No.
What about information about contacting the lawyer? Where do we find that information? I didn't know about that service. That's wonderful.
Actually, yes, that comes in your invitation packet or in a new members packet as well. They have changed from what we have had about 5 or 6 years ago. The new lawyers that are in NCAE Advocacy Center are updating this year to see if the ones that we have listed are going to continue. Some of them have not, but there are certain areas in which they may have changed what they actually cover. But that will also be updated and be given out in the invitation packet to, before, let's say this, before they weren't in the invitation packet because we did not want folks to know what that information was and try to get that, because it is a service for the consultation that is free because of your membership. And literally that's all you would have to say is, you know, you're a member of NCRSP, NCAE, and they automatically give you your 30 minutes free consultation. So we've taken it out of the invitation packet and put it back into the new member packet. So every new member actually has that information coming through the packet. That's something that we will be giving the presidents and the membership chairs. So you can have it, so you can tell all your members when you go to your meetings, or at least have your meetings over the phone so they can have it. All new members automatically get it, but some of the old ones do not know it. We'll be providing that information with you, and also making sure that it can be put on the web somewhere on the backside for members only, so it can be ready available. It's like I said, it's only in certain areas in certain cities. So the information is there as to what they actually practice. Okay, so it is not going to be for anyone who is trying to do it from a professional level because they're having a situation at school, because they were terminated. None of that will actually fit what these attorneys are privileged to be able to do with you. That's not their practice. That's not the service that is being offered with this benefit.
I'm an old member, transferred over because I was an NEA member for life, but I didn't know this existed. So there's got to be a way to let our old transfer members also know about it.
Mhm.
Like a hidden benefit.
Question.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
about
Pat,
this.
you have your hand up.
Yes, question about this new package that you're talking about, Tara. Who do they come from?
State office.
NCRSP state office?
Yes.
Okay, and one other question. The talking about the membership forms and cash pay, and the fact that the information, the forms will go to the treasurers, back to the treasurers this year, right?
Correct.
Will NCAE still send them a letter, or will NCRSP send cash pays a letter, even though the forms go to the treasurers of each local? I mean,
A
so that they
letter.
will remember, that they are cash pay and that they do have to redo their,
No, the confusion is a letter goes out either through email, and for those who do not have email or hard copy, from NCAE for EFT and payroll only. Cash pay only gets the renewal form.
and this year they're not going to get the renewal form. The treasurer is going to get it.
Correct. And they send it to, that's what has been voiced the loudest of some of the changes that we had to go through last year, is because the members are used to treasurers sending them their cash pay forms at the beginning of the year with their, hello letter or whatever. That's what it's going back to. So they will receive their renewal form from their treasurer.
Okay, I understand what you were saying, but I just didn't see anything wrong with with both them getting the letter to remind them, and then the treasurer sending it out, and by that time they'll remember and they can go ahead and renew, pay their
Okay.
money without us having to go once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. That
Pat,
kind of
we've
thing.
actually never sent the cash pay members a letter from us letting them know. It's always been if the locals were sending a letter for the beginning of the year and their
We
renewal
did
form.
that. Yeah, we did that. I guess I'm thinking about the fact that whenever they get ready to take from my draft my dues, I get that letter that says that get ready
Mhm.
because your dues are going to be drafted at such and such a time, and the next month or later this month or something like that. And I appreciate that because most of the time I have forgotten about it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Pat, this last year has been very eye-opening for us. We always say that we're a bottom-up organization, and the members actually rely upon that local presence. And when it moves into more of a state on our side, and we try to engage or send out, they get confused or or a little suspicious. So it just really it was what it was. We were going through the pandemic. We learned some things. We may have to go back another time and reconsider, but we're going to go back to sending it to the treasurers, and prayerfully everybody be up and running and will do what they normally did in the past.
And I agree. I understand what you're saying, Teresa. I just don't see anything wrong with having it a two-pronged approach. You're right. This last one, this was really traumatic for our local too. Really traumatic. But that's just, since when you learn something, you learn something. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I often get calls from members on different topics, and every opportunity that a member calls into the state office, we bring up the database and make sure that all the contact information is current, the email, the phone address, and that nothing has changed. So we are constantly trying to keep our statewide database up to date. And a lot of times during that process, other questions will come up. And so I end up sending regular members who can't find their membership number. I send them another membership packet because they weren't aware of the horseman insurance. They weren't aware of the attorney referral. So a lot of those new member welcome packets are for existing members who've forgotten their member number or forgotten about some of the benefits. So from time to time, it is great for members to call and say, I need some updated information from the state office about what my benefits are. And I see we have a question from Deborah, Tara and Teresa, about clarifying what the Advocacy Center helps members with and what the attorney referral system helps members with, the legal services.
Okay. Advocacy Center is primarily only for active members. They do not cover retired members whatsoever. They can maybe help you with finding an attorney for a situation, but they handle no cases whatsoever for any of our retired members. So your referrals attorneys referrals that we have. That was the listing that the Advocacy Center lawyers helped with. It's like a partnership with some of the local attorneys, help our members with states, estates, wills, domestic situations, things like that. It doesn't handle anything professional. It is pretty much your life as a retired member. So if you want to get your affairs in order at the house, they will be able to help you with that. If you got a speeding ticket, some of them may be able to help you with that. If you wanted to purchase and start an estate, some of them will be able to help you with that. But literally, it is only things that have a personal responsibility to you as your everyday life, nothing professional.
So how do you
Advocacy-
access that service?
Ma'am,
How do you access that service then? If you don't go through Advocacy Center, how do our members access that list?
that's what the referral list that we were talking about earlier.
You can
The
just call a lawyer
attorney.
directly and just say, I'm an
Yes.
NCRSP.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
It's a listing that some of them are in the area that still do give us every member 30 minutes of free consultation, let you know if they can help you, if they can't, that kind of thing. And even if you don't need an extensive amount of consultation for whatever it is, the situation you would need to go to them for, it may be just words of advice to have you be able to settle something. That's free. You get 30 minutes automatically free as a member. And then they have discounted rates if you need to actually hire them. Okay. And everybody is different. They're in different areas of the state. I have gone through a few of the listings by helping someone who needed an attorney in their area. Unfortunately, the two that were previous are no longer having that benefit for us. So like I said, Advocacy Center is still working for this year to see who actually will be back on our referral listing. And maybe somebody who is going to join that, you know, wants to partner up with NCAE, NCRSP forum. But that list will come out a little bit. Like I said, it's at the beginning where the new year's coming in, and the Advocacy Center is actually is doing most of the lead work with that. Okay, and we'll get that information. They haven't given us a date, but they have said they're working on it so we can have it for the beginning of the year. In terminology, their year and our year is different. Their year starts in September. So this information should be available by the beginning of September. We will not be the beginning of July like our membership year starts, okay? There's a difference. There's a couple of hands up. Carol?
I think Sandra was first.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
Been
Sandra.
Got a question. Who vets these attorneys? Do they apply to join our referral group directly to RSP?
All attorney referrals, vetted and otherwise, are done by the Advocacy Center of NCAE.
Very good. Okay. How do you go about recruiting attorneys across the state so that this would be more of a benefit to all areas of the state?
I believe that's a question actually for the Advocacy Center,
That is.
because they're the one that prepared the list for us.
So they would be doing the seeking of attorneys across the state. Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yes.
All right. I shall approach them. Thank you.
So the list has the 10 areas of the state where the attorney firms are located. And then it also has the types of services they offer at the bottom, like wills, traffic, other, real estate, domestic. Following the listing of that particular law firm, you have the areas that they have services available for you.
Barbara Anderson. You're muted. Barbara, you're muted.
Where is the list archived? Where do
The
we go
list-
find that list, or do we have to call you directly?
Right now, you have to call us directly. The list is not archived anywhere. We have to take it down.
I haven't found it to be taken down, so that's why I asked, because I've looked.
Yeah. No, it's never been on this new website. This was prior to. The old website, yes, it did have it on there. Things have definitely changed since that old website has been
Okay.
taken down, but no, it's not archived in there for you.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Okay.
that.
I think Mary had a question.
Yes, Tara just answered it.
Okay.
All right, well, we have a few minutes before Sarah gets on. I want to talk a little bit about engagement because we said we need to engage existing members additionally and with your prospective members. So some of you have opened up, some of you have plans to open up. How have you been thinking about engagement? What are you trying to do or do differently? Has anyone thought about if you start your meeting face to face and your people don't come back as rapidly as you think? Are you going to modify? Are you going to just keep having the meetings? Are we maybe thinking hybrid? Okay, all right. Well, again,
Could I say something quick?
Oh, go ahead, Pat.
Okay, membership.
Yeah.
I've been talking to my to the folk in my local about something that we can do between now and August, September. You know, it's not a long time, but it's a long time when you're talking about members.
Mm.
And I I have sort of thrown out the idea, or I'm trying to get folk to throw out the idea with me, because I know I can't do any of this by myself, that we do some kind of gathering at a park. I don't know even if our parks are open, but this is just for a like a membership meeting, that we find some open place and that we can sort of gather, you know, for 30, 40 minutes and talk about membership, bring people, or whatever it is we can figure out that we can do in that amount of time, you know, with something there that we can perhaps share with somebody. Not real, you know, formal, very informal, but helpful, I hope. So all of you good minds, flesh that out, please, and see what can be done with that.
Okay.
Well, we've talked about it, and I tell you what, my executive board asked to not meet this summer. They're tired. We worked pretty hard this year, just trying to keep it pulled together. But we're also a beach community, so it's like, you know, everybody's wants to be at the beach and they want to rest. So we won't be cranking back up till August, I think. But we have talked about getting our speakers lined up and activities lined up, at least for the first 6 months, and try to pull people in that way. And it a lot depends on whether we're going to be able to meet face to face or not, because, you know, the kids will be going back to school. They're still not vaccinated, and that population hospitalizations are starting to tick up. So I think it's a lot of I think you're gonna have to have multiple strategies to be able to work with, because you can't set on one plan. There's too many variables that you have no control over. So I think the hybrid is a good way, but then it also depends on whether you have what your internet access will be and where you're able to meet or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
So-
exactly what you mean. Having a hybrid is, I mean, it's easy to say, but I went to a conference a couple of weeks ago that did a hybrid just to see what it was like. And you really need to have someone engaging the people online who are looking at the speaker, as well as having that speaker engage people online. And because you lose, what was the statistic Robert said? He said you lose the people online and you can lose them in 5 minutes. No, 8 minutes. And
8 minutes.
it was 8 minutes, yeah. And the people in the room after 10. So it's a different model, and we're coming up against it. And there's no cookie cutter approach to it, unfortunately.
No, and that's why teachers had a hard time, Teresa, because they were teaching both hybrid and in person. The other thing I will share with everybody in our last meeting that Debbie alluded to was a face-to-face. That's what a lot of them, and we did have a really good turnout. More people came. But the thing that struck me most that was talked about was the fact that several of them felt that we did not do enough to to engage our members who were not internet accessed. They felt very left out, that we didn't do enough to engage them. I mean, I don't know what else we could have done other than figured out a way for telephone access on Zooms, but if they're on a landline, they can't access the Zoom. So that's one of the conundrums we're facing, because a good portion of our current membership is digitally no footprint. So
Well,
how do we engage them?
You may have to alternate, just like I said, think about doing things differently and changing times doing meetings at different times. You may have to have a Zoom meeting or a meeting over freeconferencecall.com.
Freeconferencecall.com.
Yeah, let's go back to phone calls. I mean, that it's gonna get even, and like I said, there's no cookie cutter approach, and unfortunately it's gonna get more challenging, because just like you send out information and you communicate with members through different ways, whether it's a postcard, a newsletter, or something electronic, you have to take that same approach when you're engaging members, that you're gonna have your different levels. And there may be a group who will be really, really receptive to, okay, I'll pop on a conference call for about 40 minutes. What are we going to talk about? And then you'll have a group that'll be real receptive to, oh, okay, we're doing some postcards or scholarship thing or food drive thing. Okay, I'll come to that meeting. I mean, it's going to get down, unfortunately, to be where you may have segmented meetings, and then you still have to have that overall umbrella approach to engage them all at their level so they see the value. Tara, I see a bunch of hands going like this. I saw Vivian going like this. And hi, Sarah. And Deborah. And so I'm going to rely on you, Tara. Tell me who's first. I'm reading your lips because you're muted.
I apologize. I saw all the hands pop up too. Vivian and then Deborah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Tara and Teresa. I just wanted to expound a little bit on the idea that Pat Randall gave about, meeting somewhere outside. I did see at some point during the pandemic, that what one town did, a community organization did, was they had a scavenger hunt where people would meet at different times, like a group might meet at 10, and they had like a walking trail. And during the walking trail, they had to stop at certain positions and answer a question or pick up a clue or whatever. And I thought that would be great. Number one, it takes in social distancing. It's outside. It can be at different times, but at each station, there could be information about a NCRSP membership benefit, or NEA membership benefit, or a little gift. And it's something that could involve family, friends. Just wanted to throw it out there. There was something that I saw that a community did.
That's a great idea. I love it.
You could have a little gifts, maybe at each station, a history about the county or whatever.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to throw that out there, and thank you for recognizing me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Deborah, that's great.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on what Barbara said. At the park, our members were excited. We finally started a phone tree back, and they just liked that one-on-one talking to them. I think I had 8 people, and we divided the list up, and we called every single member. It also helped us track down updated information. So we're updating our directory for the fall. But also, we had so much money left over because we didn't go anywhere this year or do anything, that we took and we took lunch to 2 of our schools that don't have a PTA for the last workday. And we also gave $100 to every media center, every elementary media center. And we had members go out and do that face-to-face with the principal and the media center coordinator in each school. We're trying to get our name out there and our face out there so that people see us as active. And that's why we were talking about the swag. We would have loved to have had NCRSP swag on that day. But somebody had a button or a tag they had left from a convention that they wore, and we wore our Red for Ed buttons. But letting people know that NCRSP exists, because so many people don't even know we exist. And I think that that's a big piece of what we're doing too. It's going to bring members to us when they see us doing things actively for their school. When they do retire, they're going to want to join us and be active with that too. So I think that's a big part of member engagement. And the members that we took out with us had never done that before. So I think they really enjoyed getting into the schools and doing something for them.
Pat Randall, before we go to Sarah has a question.
That is really true though, Deborah, about the folk that you take when they go, they enjoy it, because we have had a few people who have gone with us and who've never participated. They've just been very good members. And once they got out there doing whatever it was, they too enjoy that. So yes, that's more of that eclectic thinking and trying to do everything you can to get people to participate and to keep them interested in what you're doing. That's good. Thank you, Deborah.
I remember that, could have sworn there was another hand.
Nope,
Remember
that's
who
it.
was.
Rachel, did your hand go up?
I just wanted to make a statement. It's all we can do to keep our group together. Anita Bain is still going to be several months recouping as president. I'm the only one in Davidson County, Lexington City, and I'm not bragging by any means because I sure don't know what I'm doing, that stepped up to the plate and has made 2 newsletters on my computer, gone through a gazillion ink cartridges, but I've done it for Anita. And people appreciate that, but we don't even have enough officers or people that can do. We're right around probably 91 members at this point. And it's just frustrating when 2 or 3 do all the work. I kind of got things going, and if our secretary had not had all the names on her computer, I would have been out of luck. She's been a godsend, and Tara's been so good to help me when I don't know how to properly do it on the computer. And I've gotten a couple members and addresses straightened out. One member, probably if I hadn't have called, we probably wouldn't have gotten him back on board. And I'm not bragging. It's just hard when 1 or 2 people have to do everything. And I'm probably not the only one in that boat. So I'm not trying to be negative because I really appreciate what we do. But the people that pave the path for us are in their 80s and 90s. And they're basically the ones that attend the meetings, with a few 70s and 60s, and others aren't joiners.
Mhm.
And I think all of you are seeing that. And I know I'm preaching to the wrong choir, but that's just kind of where we are in Davidson County, Lexington City. And we've had a great region too that has done lots for us. And we've given out some grants in region 2 that's very easy to get for our 8 locals. And that's been wonderful too. But we haven't been able to fulfill ours because COVID set in, and that kind of put a damper on what we were doing. But I appreciate this group, and I appreciate all that all of you do.
Okay, do we have it, Loretta?
She's muted. Oh, wrong,
Yeah.
Loretta.
You're muted, Miss Martin. And I can't unmute her. There we go.
Okay, can you hear
Yes.
me now?
Yes.
I wanted to just sort of piggyback on Rachel's comments. We were lucky enough in Thomasville City, small as we are, in 2019 to award a grant to a teacher, active teacher in the 5th grade. And we got that grant out to her. We had been giving money for students that were going on to teach. But we decided that it would be a good idea that if we helped some of our local teachers, and she had presented a really great idea of how to reach her students through something called the Passport Program, which will help them learn geography. So we have just recently gotten in touch with her. We didn't know if she had got to do the project at all. And so we have found out from her just this past week that yes, she was able to get the materials to get started, but because pandemic shut us all down, she wasn't able to finish it. So we've just a connection with this active teacher in our Liberty Drive school who has agreed to come and speak at our September meeting and let us know what she has been able to do thus far with that program, intends to finish that program. We just thought this was a good way for us to spend money, which we get when one of our members passes away. We will put money in what we call the scholarship fund, and then we would award it to some student. So this has been for us. We haven't been active at all during this time, but we do have a connection with an active teacher who will be teaching summer school this year, and in order to help her students get them up to date if you can. So I just thought, I guess we were lucky in that we got this money out to her at the end of 2019, and she's still going to be working on it this year. So that connection with active teachers is something that we just always felt was really important. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you that there was a bright spot for us, although we were hunkered down so long that we thought we'd never see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I do believe we were going to make it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Pat?
I'll just, thank you, Ms. Martin. That's a wonderful idea. And I wanted to ask us, how many of our locals have our own banners? You know, when we're talking about people knowing who we are, and I know that you all are out and about, and you volunteer in so many different places in so many different ways. How many of us have our own either banners or t-shirts or something like that that identifies whom we are, not just that we're NCRSP, but that we are all of these collective 100 counties, you know, that we are those retirees. Just wondering.
I will say that Debbie made a banner sort of for us when we were on the RV tour. And, but she's crafty like that. She took the logo and downloaded it in color on fabric print material that you could print onto fabric, and then embroidered it and attached it to a length of fabric. And we put that out on our table over another tablecloth. And so Pat, that's our homemade banner, but she's crafty that way. But no, have we purchased anything? No. All the active locals should have one, but there is no swag for the locals unless we buy it ourselves.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that because membership, I mean, without members, we just don't have it. But I like that idea. If I could do something like that, but that's just not in me. I'd have to go to Office Depot or somewhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's a quilter, so she had the materials.
Paulette, I'm sorry, Barbara.
Okay, I'm fine. Thank you for letting me share.
The question is in the chat. I think Tara answered it.
Okay. Catherine, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, I really appreciated when they did the RV tour. I got to meet Deborah and Barbara, and their table looked great, and they had masks to donate. Of course, I know most of us would love to have a mask burning party, but we better keep them handy for future use. But I definitely got compliments and appreciated it, and gave one to one of my members that I see at the gym. So thank you.
It was good to see you and meet you, Catherine.
Oh, and I appreciate you sent me the name of 2 people that are going to be retiring in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay on top of that.
Well, good.
Well, that actually is a really good segue. We have with us now Sarah Feldman, who is organizer extraordinaire. She has so much experience, a wonderful touch, a wonderful perspective, and she is taking time out of her schedule today to share some ways that we can craft some messaging, how we can come against no's, and just a few other tidbits that may be helpful. So Sarah, I turn it over to you, and thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa. Really good to be here. Great to see a lot of faces I know, and a lot of faces I don't know. Yeah, so Teresa and Co asked me to talk a bit about responding to no's and recruiting members, even when it's hard. What I would love to hear from you all to be able to do that and have that discussion is, when you're out there trying to recruit NCRSP members, what are the most common reasons that people say no, or what makes it hard? Yeah, what are the challenges we face? I see Catherine making some dollar.
The money signs.
Costs too much.
Costs too much.
I am doing so much. They say that I am doing so much, I just can't take on something else.
And I've even had some to say it wasn't a good fit for them, and they had been the school's faculty rep with NCAE, and I'm going, really? And some people want to be entertained.
Yeah. Well, that's really helpful. So here's the next question I'm going to ask you all. Why, when you could be anywhere, are you here on your Tuesday? Why are you all members of NCRSP? What made it worth it to you?
I may be retired, but I've not given up on public education, either the educators or the kids. They still need us to fight for them. We have to be able to say what active people can't say. It's not safe for them to talk, so we have to do it for them.
I'm a professional. I'll always be a professional.
We've got a couple people.
So I should be a part of my professional organization.
Okay, I think there's someone else trying to answer at the same time. What else? I see Barbara and Martin with hands up.
I'm kind of that's why I went ahead and retired earlier than I anticipated, because in our county, it's very hard for the teachers to be vocal. And we can, but what I have found is a disconnect between the active division and the retired division. So I'm trying to bridge it, because one can't survive without the other. And retirees are volunteer in the schools a lot. They help with teachers a lot. They haven't this last year, but a lot of our retirees, that's what they like to do. They're teachers. They've been teachers. They are teachers. They will be teachers. And they want to help and they want to be involved. And so build it.
Thank you, Barbara. So I've heard a lot of really good responses, and we've heard a lot of different reasons why folks in this room decided to be in this room. And that's so important to know why we're doing it. But what I think matters most when we're trying to recruit members is why they're doing it. So we know some of our folks think that they're really busy, or it costs too much, or it wasn't a good fit for them. But I'd love to hear from someone, how have you or how would you go about finding out what your potential members care about that speaks to them?
Miss Posey had her hand up, and then Sandra Hadley had hers up.
Okay.
Well, I was actually going to say Barbara drafted me.
Barbara drafted you. Okay.
I just retired last August, and in part got involved because we have had so much going on in New Hanover County that the teachers feel they are being micromanaged, and there are actually policies being proposed where teachers could be fired or principals could be fired if they speak out against or if they break rules. But people like us can go to the call to audience and say, look, you polite word, you've got to do things better for the kids. And we're all headed out there to the school board meeting tonight and braving the anti-CRT people to stand up for the trans kids, and anti-suspensions for the kindergartners, because that is still going on in our county. And so that's why I joined, was because I can finally stand up for some things like that.
Okay, so that's great. We've got making sure we're not suspending our 5-year-olds, making sure trans kids can be who they are, standing up for what you wish you had when you were an active educator. And this is perfect because we've got a recruiter and a new recruitee who is out here at this leadership convention. Barbara or Martin, what was that conversation like? Barbara, how did you draft Miss Posey here?
Actually, I'm Leslie. Martin is my husband.
Okay.
It's his computer.
Sure. All right. Leslie, thank you for correcting me. Barbara, what'd you say? Or what'd you ask her?
I didn't ask her anything directly the first couple times.
Okay.
I just talked about the retired division, what we could do, what's available, how it would maintain her membership with NEA and retain her benefits there. These were the things we're doing. I find that don't ask that hard ask the first time. Make that hard ask later on, after you've established a relationship of trust and commonality.
So how did you know when you're ready to make that hard ask?
When she said she had had enough and she was ready to retire, and I said, well, now it's time to come over to the retired division so we can use your voice. I waited until she had decided to retire. She was already an NCAE member, but you know what? She didn't even know there was an NCRSP. So part of the thing is that we're trying to educate current NCAE members that there is a retired division. That's that disconnect between the two.
Ooh, that's so good, Barbara. I heard so many things there. We have an existing relationship, somebody that you knew as an active teacher. We had not waiting for someone to retire. And I think probably the best thing that I heard that you did was you were talking to her about what she cared about. And we know so many educators are retiring or are leaving because, folks are fed up and frustrated with how the state and how the counties are treating y'all. And Barbara heard that. Barbara heard that that was what was going on for Leslie and said, I know what you care about because you told me and I made the time to build that relationship and asked. And here's how you can make an impact on that. So what Barbara basically did was she built a relationship and then she spoke to Leslie's self-interest. She spoke to what Leslie cared about. We all care about what we care about and joined for whatever reason we joined. And that can be convincing. It's great to share why you care about. But what I think is always going to be the most convincing is getting to know what someone else cares about and calling the question like Barbara did. She said, look, like you're fed up. You hate the way things are going. You're ready to retire. Now you can fight. Now you can take care of some of those things you wish you could always have taken care of. So I didn't even plan this, didn't know we were going to have a recruiter and a recruitee, but I think that's a great example for how we can recruit members. Anyone else have a way that you have either built a relationship or targeted a current active member or asked someone or spoke to their self-interest that helped you successfully recruit a member? There's a lot of questions in one. I'm not a teacher, but I can do quite the teacher's pause, y'all.
I think the other thing that we did was we put them to work, give them a purpose. Again, I go back to that. I said that earlier, but that's what we're finding with folks. They want a purpose. If we specifically ask them to do something, then they're more likely to join us.
But not too soon. You don't want to throw them in on the railroad track right away.
But we partner up, like send them out with somebody.
Ooh, okay. So that's several things in there. Partnering up, I hear, Barbara's example was using existing relationships. Deborah's is building new relationships. Someone's probably going to stay if they feel like they're making friends in NCRSP. Who doesn't want to have friends and community? And Deborah, I also heard you say, give people a purpose. I definitely agree with that. And I think that's really different from asking someone to all of a sudden alone do a ton of busy work. Can you say more about what you mean and how you give people a purpose that they're excited about?
Well, our group, we collect materials for, we have a food bank for retired teachers. I think it's so horrible that our retired teachers make so little. We have to have a food bank for them. But there's a food bank for the retired teachers. We collect toiletries and those kind of things for. But also, like when we went out and delivered those checks I mentioned earlier to the media centers, we paired up and we sent people into the schools to deliver the money for the media centers. When we delivered food to the schools, it only took one or two people to actually take the food in, but we had others that came along. And like Leslie made strawberry jam. She made a little jar of strawberry jam for each teacher in that school. So giving people non-threatening something to do gives them a purpose, makes them feel good about themselves, but they're also giving to the active community too.
Yeah, ooh, that's great. So those are things people probably care about, whether they're themselves needing that food bank or whether they're angry on behalf of their cohort mates, the other retired educators. That's something a lot of people are going to care about. That's really smart.
And I had active teachers ask what they can do to give to other schools. So teachers that are in schools that have what they need are asking what they can do to give to schools that don't. So that was a neat connection, I thought, this time around.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Joan, is your hand up?
One of my frustrations is that I've been retired a long time, and I think that if we can involve some of our younger retirees, more recent retirees, in helping us because they know people as they retire better than I do. So I think to involve some of our younger retirees, more recent retirees in the process is really very important.
Yeah. How would you do that, Joan?
I think that we have some of our leadership now are among the younger retirees or the more recent retirees, people who have maybe still are going back into the schools, as part-time folks. And I think that we've tried to invite some of our newer retirees into leadership positions or committee chairs or something of that sort, so that there's some involvement already in the organization, and then they in turn can begin to reach out.
And has that worked?
Somewhat.
Okay.
I won't say it's perfect, but it certainly, I think, does help somewhat.
Yeah. Giving folks a chance at leadership. A lot of folks want that. And I think if you haven't, Joan, I'd recommend to you to tell those younger retirees exactly how much you need them and why, and how much they matter to you, and make sure that they know that actually they bring something that maybe you can't, and that's why they're so valuable, and that you need their help to talk to, the folks 1 year, 2 years after them, younger than them, that are still active. And I think making sure that folks know that they're valued and exactly what value they bring and why they're so needed will make people feel really appreciated and part of the organization. And I know that we're 2 minutes over time, so I'll give it back to Teresa if there's anything else you want me to cover, anything else that we need to do.
No, you have time. I was thinking 11:30. We were trying to keep it to an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if there's more discussion, I say that's good because it's valuable. So you're okay if you're able. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I have a little bit more time.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who else has either tried to recruit a new member to your chapter, or has done something that was successful that you want to share? I think we can all learn from each other.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
This is Son.
Hey.
Been listening to all of this. We in Catawba County have always tried to maintain a relationship. We have 3 systems in our county. Newton Conover school system, Catawba County, and Hickory City. So we try to always maintain a relationship with the officers and the organizations that they lead and keep up with their needs. That's one thing. We attend their AR meetings. They've been Zoom this year. The other thing is we put in the schools flyers that go on bulletin boards about our association with the headline, if you're 5 years out from retiring, you need to check us out. And we have a Facebook page and a website so that they become aware of what we're about. Also, new recruitees, we try to find out what they're interested in so that we can make a small fit. The several weeks ago, whenever the traveling road show was in Hickory, we had a new member who came up to me and she said, I would like to be able to do something. When are we going to start meeting again? I said, can't answer that question, but I do have something you could do. I'd like you to become part of our scholarship committee. Oh, she was as happy as a bug in a rug, honey. So I think you just got to be willing to reach out to people, and you may not know a whole lot about what they want, but if you just sort of gently ask questions, you can get responses that you can fit into.
Yeah, questions are best friends in organizing. That's for sure. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I guess a question, speaking of, that I have for you all is, are you all finding that the hardest part is recruiting active members right as they're retiring? That it's recruiting retired folks that maybe weren't active members who didn't join immediately, or that it's retaining members that you have? What is kind of the hardest part, the part where we feel like we need the most help?
For us, it's recruiting new members.
Okay.
Because a lot of them are so fed up with what they have been through in the last 10 to 15 years that has thwarted their passion for teaching and helping students, that they just want to walk away from it. And when I'm talking to them, I have to point out, but you don't want to walk away from yourself. If you walk away from all of this, period, you're not going to be engaged in improving your long-term life benefits as far as your pension, as far as your health care, because all of it's at will. I don't care what anybody says. But those dear folks sitting in their seats in Raleigh giveth, they can taketh away. And we would have to go through lawsuits to maintain things. And some of them would just as soon see us all fall on our faces, plain and simple. So I have to talk to them about, you may be tired of this. And I understand, because I taught 42 and a half years, and I finally decided I've had enough of all this paperwork and garbage that is not really impacting children. But I have to remember, I've got to live for the next 20, 30 years, maybe, hopefully. And if I want to be able to live the best possible life, I've got to have my good pension. I have got to have my health care, and I've got to have other benefits that will help me have a better life. And it also helps you. And our new teachers need to be taught to think down the road, not right now, not this year, not just the next 5 years, but if they're in the profession for the long haul, they need to consider all the things down the road. So the people who are so burnt out is probably the biggest obstacle to getting them to join.
Okay. Sandra, or did you have a nickname? I want to get it right.
Did I have a what?
Sandra, or did you say you went by Sandy?
Sandra.
Sandra. Okay. Thank you, Sandra. That is incredible. And I want to point out a few things that you said right there. So one, you said people, they've lost their passion for teaching. They're just tired of doing things that don't help their kids. And what you said was great, because you said, I've been there. Who among us has not been there? You related to them and said, look, I understand where you've been. I've been there. That's so valid. I get it. That I think is one of the first steps when people are feeling burnt out, is you're never going to convince someone by saying, well, no, you shouldn't be burnt out. Now join NCRSP. That's not going to work. What you did is what's going to work. And then what you did, which is so great, is you said you laid out your personal interest and your personal stake. And I was inspired right now listening to you. I was like, yeah, I don't want Raleigh to taketh away. Why do they get to taketh away? That's not fair. And what you did was you turned a demotivating feeling, I can't even deal with those people in Raleigh anymore, what are they doing to our profession, into a feeling that motivates action. You took that like give up feeling into righteous anger. I was like, yeah, they can cut pensions anytime. That's wrong. I want to do something about it. Did anyone else feel that as Sandra was talking? Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing that I would push you to do, and maybe you did this because that was so good. I would bet you even did this. You know, you said, look, I got to live for the next 20 to 30 years, and Raleigh is going to continue to take us away if we let them. What I would then say is, you know, you, retiree I'm talking to, you, Teresa, you, Catherine, how would it affect you if all of a sudden the folks in Raleigh decided to make another cut to our pensions? And then wait, and then see, you know, like you got that first part of like relating to them, of saying why this is so important, of turning that like, no, there's no way, and I'm all alone, into we should be angry about this. And then that final step is ask them, because when they say, yeah, that would really ruin my retirement, that would really ruin my life plan, I don't know how I'd be able to manage. That's when, you know, you can say, okay, well, what do you think it would take to change that? And what's the organization that's trying to change that?
That's that hook that we need. And so can we copy that? I think we need to have that all printed out.
Please copy it. That's why I came here. That's why all of you came here, to learn from each other. Yeah, so it's all about getting that, you know, getting the person fired up to be able to name their own self-interest, and then asking them, I think I see Lena here. Lena's very good at this. So I want to shout Lena out. Lena has a phrase that she says that sticks with me. Lena says, you all, who is you all? You all is you. You know, folks, I don't know if you guys have heard, like, what is NCIE doing for me? What is NCRSP doing for me? A sensible question, but who is NCIE? Who is NCRSP? Is nothing but the members. If you want something to change, there's no one but you. And we have to help folks understand no one's going to do it for you. You're going to do it, and we're going to do it together. And I think that the way Sandra started us off is right on the path to that.
I would like to add another point. When they come back and say, oh, no, they wouldn't, I'm ready for it.
What do you say?
Number one, they can take away, because starting this year, when the teachers retire who were employed at the beginning in January of this year, January 2021, they do not have free health insurance when they retire. So don't tell me you can't have things taken away. When you were teaching, you lost your career status. When you were teaching, you lost your rights to your employment rights.
Yeah, master pay rights.
You lost your master pay. They are cutting back on what is it called?
We lost longevity.
You lost longevity. I don't care what they say that they did, and they folded it in. They folded it in to keep from having to give a pay raise. And if you don't think it's important to fight for a COLA, it impacts you over and over and over again down the road when you keep fighting for another COLA. Each COLA builds on the last one. And that makes it better. You said something about a food pantry. We have retirees who are educators who are still alive that makes less than $800 a month in pension payments.
That's right.
How in God's name do you make it paying your portion out of pocket for medicines and things?
Nathan, let's
How do
go.
you buy groceries? How do you buy gas? How can you pay for your car repairs, your house repairs?
Go, baby.
People, it compounds.
Right.
I could preach.
Sandra, you could preach all day. I'm gonna challenge you to close, but you just pretend that I'm the person you're trying to recruit and close that with the question that you'd ask me. So I have to say something back. So I have to say what I feel about all that.
So, darling, what are you gonna do to help yourself?
Ooh,
I love
applause
it.
for that. Oh, that was good. That was good.
Because I have it here. I'm offering you a way to help yourself. Because together we can make it.
Perfect. Love it.
I don't have anything to add to that. And the best thing I think you did there after the question, which was spot on, was you stopped talking. You didn't, that puts pressure, right? I have to answer that question. She didn't say, what are you going to do to help yourself? Because we could do member recruitment, or we could do a food pantry, or we could go to Raleigh, or nope, it's on me. I have to make the choice. I have to tell her. And if I'm not willing to do anything, I have to say that. She's not giving me an out because she asked the question. And then I call it hard ask and hard stop. Also colloquially called hard ask and shut up. She asked, and then I have to answer. Cool. We could keep going, but I feel like that was a great point to end on. Closes us out pretty poetically. So I'll leave that choice to Teresa and Carol and Tara.
No, I think that was good. I think this has been valuable. Unless there are any other questions. Well, Sarah, I have to thank you again. You always have such really, really good tips and help to bring out and make it into an exercise that's really valuable and you can get from. So I thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Well, unless there are any other questions, or I see your hand up, Barbara.
I just want to say thank you, Teresa, for putting, and Tara and Carol for putting this together. As a new president this year, I have found being able to gather with people like this in this venue very helpful for me, because we didn't have a, president's training last year. And so I've learned so much from all of the collective people on these Zooms, from like Joan and Sandra and Teresa and everybody. My conversations with Linda, you've helped me grow so much. And Teresa being there all the time when I have questions, and Tara, I just want to take this time, because you're here as a body, to tell you how much I appreciate all your help this year for my first term. I don't think I could have gotten through it. I've got a good executive board, but y'all had my back too. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that before we close out, all of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to say something too. I've been listening to everything. I'm packing because I'm moving. And so I couldn't keep on the screen the whole time, but I'm packing all around me over here, and I've been hearing the conversation, and I think it's been great. So I appreciate everybody that helped to put this together, Teresa and the team, and then the people that commented, because that's what it takes. Everybody's got different ideas that they can share. And I like that idea of the food bank. I hope you can get a personal story from somebody that uses that for a food bank and send it to Teresa to put on the website. How about that, Teresa? Wouldn't that be a good story?
Mm-hmm. Or film it.
Well, video it. Take short video.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, video of the food bank.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, not the. I meant the story.
Yeah, the story. Yeah. And I think Barbara knows how to do that, because I think she's already sent you something.
I know, it's coming. I know, we've talked about it, so, all right.
Okay, that's, if you do have some good stories, you know, that, I think that helps. And like I said, you have to help yourself. And so I hope everybody sent an email. We've been out there sending emails telling you to email your senator about the 2%. So if you haven't done it, you need to do that when you get off this, this training. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, this will conclude our membership recruitment training. I want to thank you all for joining. Again, the recording will be made available in the future, hopefully by the end of the week. So enjoy this break. If you're coming on to the treasurer training, we'll see you at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.